What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 96 of Lobbing Scorchers. We're recording this on a rainy Sunday evening in Seattle. And Noah, we have got an emphatic dub pod to lay down right now. How are you feeling?
I sure have not felt this good in 2025 once, Ari. The seasonal affective disorder is out. It's sunny. Well, not now, but it was sunny this week. The players are feeling it. And frankly, I'm feeling it too, Ari. This might be the biggest dub pod we've ever experienced.
It is an emphatic dub pod as the Seattle Sounders beat the absolute brakes off Nashville SC at Lumen Field 3-0. This game had a Moose goal. It had a De La Vega goal. It had a Paul Rothrock goal. This was a very Lobbing Scorchers dub, I think.
Yeah, it was.
That trio is it's our kind of dub. We're going to talk about that in our game review. We're going to hit our agenda check and then hit on some of the other big headlines from around MLS, including the impending departure of Steve C from LAFC. Noah, that got announced a couple days ago.
I'll tell you what, people are really excited about that, and some people are really terrified about that.
It's definitely interesting and unexpected news. So, yeah, intrigued. Honestly.
We are happy foot, sad foot now.
It was a Galaxy Pod last year.
Yeah, we're all.
But before we get into all that, I do have to let you all know that Lobbing Scorchers is a part of the Sounder at Heart podcast network. If you want to get the best independent Seattle soccer coverage, consider supporting us by going to sounderatheart.com/ls. No, what's that link?
Sounderatheart.com/ls.
Scroll down to subscribe and support to get 30 days completely free. Every sign up through our link helps support and grow this show. We're close to 100 Sounder at Heart subs, and now more than ever, it's a great time to become a member with the season in full swing. Subscribers also now get access to the audio-only versions of our live shows right to your podcast feed. And shout out to our sponsors, Haxan Ferments, Podium Menswear, and Full Pull Wines, My Daddy Removal, and Body Spec. It's an ever-growing list.
We have a lot of them.
If you haven't done so yet, please sub to the YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, like the video. Go through and like every single video that we have, including all the live streams. And anything else to shill or should
you've been a busy man. You have been live streaming up a storm. We've both been live streaming up a storm. I think we're up to like 4 live streams a week, it feels like.
Yeah, because I'm doing kickoff, I'm doing Under the Lights, then we're doing the post-game lives. Mm-hmm. I love the content grind.
It's a good content grind. I will say we do have one new Sounder at Heart member I wanted to read out.
Yeah.
Corey Henry, thank you for joining the ranks, and thank you for joining Sounder at Heart and supporting independent Seattle soccer coverage. We would not be here without them. Go support Sounder at Heart. They're always driving for new members. And
how many do we have now?
40, or no, we have 80 something. I don't know.
80 something. I'll take that.
We're getting close. We're very close to 90.
Is alive and well. All right. Yeah. No, let's.
Before we do,
okay.
too,
all right.
I want to preview the bonus episode. Okay. We started doing bonus episodes, bonus content for YouTube members. All right. You can become a YouTube member by just hitting the join button. It's also in the description of the YouTube video on our YouTube channel. You can visit youtube.com/@LobbingScorchers. But we just posted a behind the scenes vlog from our trip to the US Open Cup. We're going to talk more about that in our post show. And I am also going to read a handwritten note apology to Daniel Musovski. Okay.
If you're not a member yet, you're going to want to be a member for that.
Listen, this is like heartfelt and honest, and I feel like it needs to be said behind a paywall. All right. So become a YouTube member and we'll
become
do
a YouTube member.
Yeah.
It's a great way to support the show.
Yeah.
One of the top 5 to 10 best ways.
They're all great ways. Pick your poison.
No, let's get into this dub pod. Really excited to talk about this game. Seattle Sounders 3, Nashville SC 0. Let's do our lineup reaction off the top here. You had a Moose start in this game with Albert Rusnak and Jackson Reagan, both not in the starting 11. Jackson Reagan's out 4-6, if I'm not mistaken. Albert Rusnak was on the bench for this game, so you had Jesus Ferreira getting some run as he was. As the 10, but he was drifting around a lot. He's not like a pure 10, obviously, in the same way that Rusnak is, but like in theory, he was taking that role for this game. And then you had Jordan Morris on the bench making his return to the Matchday squad from injury, and Ryan Kent made his Seattle Sounders and MLS debut. That was exciting. We're going to talk about that later.
Debut.
And then, exactly. And then you had Kim Keehee drawing the start for Jackson Reagan. Noah, what were your thoughts when you first saw this lineup?
I didn't have any thoughts. I just thought, hell yeah, let's do it. Let's run it. This is a game we can win. We're back home. Let's see what happens. I was stoked to see Ferreira again at the 10, see what he can do. Danny Musovski has been solid at the 9 comparatively to what Ferreira was doing.
It's been running better with him on the field, so I was glad to see them set up like that. I think it was an obvious move.
Yeah,
with
there was
Rusnak.
no shocks.
Yeah, with Rusnak out of the starting 11, I don't think there was really any other way to set it up, and it turned out to be extremely effective. Let's talk about the key moments from this game. I just have the goals listed here. So let's talk about these goals because all 3 of these goals were excellent footy. All 3 just beautiful to watch. And that 3-goal in 15-minute span was as electric as I've seen and heard Lumen Field in a while. The crowd was feeding off the energy that the players were playing with. And it was just there's nothing like Lumen Field when the Seattle Sounders are playing like that.
That's true.
It was great to see. You know, you felt it in the LAFC game, but that didn't have as many people there. There was 31K there, which that is a really good crowd for what they've been drawing lately. So it was nice to see it packed in there, and the atmosphere was great. And the players created that by scoring these goals. So let's talk about this first goal here, 19th minute, Moose goal. Paul Rothrock plays in Jesus Ferreira. It's a low cross, and Ferreira he's trying to shoot. He's trying to put it on goal. Moose happens to be in the line of the shot, and he hits it with I didn't know he had this in his bag. No, he hits it with like a little flicked kind of back heel kind of thing,
like a Rabona, dude.
Joe Willis couldn't get to it. It bounced off him and into the net. And this goal was originally called offside. He could not have been more onside. I think he might have been the most onside of all time.
Yeah,
that I've ever
very
seen.
onside.
He was very onside. I know it doesn't really matter as much in the VAR era, but I was still tilted at the AR for missing that because it was so obvious, and it showed the fact that he missed that shows he's not looking at the right thing. So that was, that's kind of a mild complaint, I guess.
I will say, for the record, this is why I'm pro VAR.
Yeah, I was saying that on the stream this morning, but like, you can't have ever situations where a goal like that doesn't count because he's onside by like 3 feet. So good on them for catching it. It would have been shocking if they hadn't caught that one.
Yeah, that would have been brutal.
But it was pretty efficient. They didn't go over there and spend an hour and a half looking at it. They saw it. It was obvious right away, immediately confirmed the goal. And honestly, I know some people are really against VAR because it takes like the kind of excitement out of the moment when a guy scores and you're like, oh, well, wait, is it going to get waved off? But I thought what Moose did was funny there. He waited for it to get confirmed and then he celebrated as if he had just scored it. So I thought that was a good little bit. And the Sounders were off and running. 3 goals in 15 minutes here.
I think you're not even giving this goal its moment that it deserves.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was going to ask if you had anything on this
was a banger, man. I mean, maybe not a certified
wasn't like a screamer,
but this was just a beaut, man. Like a technical goal, a thing that you said it. I didn't think he had it in his bag, but I mean, that's got to be a goal of the week candidate. I mean, it might not. I don't even know if they do that anymore, Ari, but that was great.
They do.
That was sick. Dude, a little behind the flick. All right, I don't know. You tell me, but
I think the degree of difficulty on it was a lot higher than he made it look.
Absolutely.
Like, it's not easy to finish a little back heel like that. And that's one of those ones where if you try that and you flub it, imagine the Moose discourse but it worked. It went in, got confirmed on video review, and the Sounders are up 1-0. And
people are also saying that, Moose got lucky. This was a lucky
someone
goal.
Did say that this morning.
And I was like, man, just shut the fuck up. Because here's the thing. Here's what I'll say about this. Jesus Ferreira essentially is shooting the ball in traffic. The whole point is that, you never know who it's going to come off of or go in, right? But Moose is, right next to the goalkeeper. That shot's going to just slammed right at the goalkeeper. He's probably catching that. That goal doesn't happen if Moose isn't in the position that he is and makes the high level of difficulty play that he does to score that goal. So if you want to call it lucky, all right, whatever, that's fine. You can feel that way. You're wrong, But you can feel that way. That's cool. Like, just say you don't know ball.
I thought it was funny that someone called it lucky because it was actually such a great example of skill. It was such a great example of skill.
It was the perfect thing of like what you have been saying of like, you can't have those opportunities if you're not in the right positions. And he was in the right position.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think J.O. had the stat that I read this morning that he's currently like number 1 in MLS in like XG generated or whatever.
Whatever. So, that's literally not a real stat at all, I don't think.
I mean...
XG generated? What are we talking about? He scored. What does that even mean?
Okay, we don't have to do this right now, but I guess we're doing it.
I'm just saying, doesn't Jordan have more goals?
This is, you literally are arguing two conflicting things at the same time because you're saying that Moose's performances have been mattering with respect to whether he's been scoring or not, that's all like those stats are measuring. But then you're also saying that the final result of whether he scores or not is all that matters. So that's two contradictory arguments.
No, I'm saying it's to your point that he is getting in good positions, but like you are only as good as the goals you put in, right? That's fair. But XG, what the fuck does that mean?
It is literally measuring if you're getting in good positions and generating high quality chances. It's the same thing.
But if they're high quality and they don't go in, what's the point?
Because if you do that consistently enough, the odds are drastically higher that they will start to go in. That's the whole point.
It just doesn't make sense.
I mean, I don't know.
It
makes perfect sense.
Just say that he scores good goals. Why are we saying he's the best XGer in the league? Like that doesn't. Like I just don't get it. Like why are we doing that?
This is one of your worst takes.
It's one of my best takes, folks. Everyone loves this take, and everyone agrees with me.
It's pretty horrifically bad.
But he scored. It's like, why are we talking about his XG? Who gives a fuck? Who cares?
It's positioning is what we're talking about. Positioning and how high quality the chance is. That obviously matters when you're talking about how likely he is to score or not. You literally just said it.
But you don't share that stat unless he scores that goal.
Well, no, because I've been sharing it because he hasn't been scoring. That's also the whole point. Like he hasn't been scoring those goals until these last couple weeks. So
that's my argument: is you share that to prove whatever you're talking about. Oh, he's the best XGer. Like, because I could say, oh, look at this. He's ineffective because he gets all of these chances, but he can never finish them, right? Or you can say, oh, look at this. He has all of these chances, and now he's finishing them. It was just a numbers game. You can just pick it and pull it and put it wherever you want and make it like follow your argument. This has been the XG segment. I'm sure we can leave it there.
Okay, that was we're even early. That was went off the rails there. Half hour mark. Second goal of the game, Pedro de la Vega goal. This was a super awesome goal. Christian Roldan wins the ball. And really, this goal was all about Christian Roldan, in my opinion. This goal doesn't happen unless he's doing the dirty work.
He's a dog.
Tracking back, bullying that guy off the ball, winning possession in the attacking end, and then sliding in a great pass to Obed. And then this was a phenomenal play by Obed as well. He has the guy one-on-one in the box and just shoots right by him to the end line. There was such little space like between Obed with the guy in between him and the end line that I don't think the defender thought that he could get to that spot and then get the cross back in. We're talking about Obed Vargas here.
We're talking Obed Vargas here.
We're talking Obed $10 million Vargas here.
Whoa. We're talking Obed $45 million
We're talking Obed $45 million Vargas here.
God, what a play. Both of them together too. Just... Talk about a double pivot of dreams.
It was so good. He gets that cross back in, and then Pedro de la Vega kicked the absolute daylights out of that ball.
That was a piss missile.
That was about, I think that's as hard as you can kick a soccer ball. And I called it on the post game live the most unsavable goal I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like there was
literally a hole in the net.
That poor goalkeeper. Yeah, he seared that thing. And I think there was it felt like there was like a tinge of frustration behind it. Like I've been waiting a long goddamn time to get an MLS goal from open play. I haven't been able to stay on the field. I'm going to just kick this ball as absolutely hard as I can. And he did that, and it was an awesome goal. What do you think of this one?
It was beautiful, man. From the start of it, that Christian Roldan turnover is exactly why he is starting and playing, even though there are haters out there who want to say he's bad. He's not been good all season. He's trash. he should retire. You know, there's people saying these things online. You're wrong. He is great. He's incredible, and he does that dirty work. He's a dog, man. And that happens. He wins this turnover on just straight grit, right? Plays this ball in to Obed Vargas, and of course it has to be him, the man who just has some of the best vision of every player to ever play on the entire planet, makes that decision to place in stride the perfect touch to get it just to the end line, get that half step on his defender, cut back to the perfect space. A space occupied by two runners crashing the box. You had Rothrock and you had De La Vega. So you knew someone was getting on that ball and someone was finishing that. Stunning. Absolutely incredible. Cinema, soccer, royalty. Beautiful.
And as good as that goal was, I think this next one might have been even better.
Oh, yeah.
I think this was my favorite goal of the season so far. And we're
not biased.
And well, this 15-minute stretch, I was touching on it earlier, but like that was this team like when they're at their apex.
Yeah.
That was the identity that they're supposed to play with. That was the intensity, the energy, how quick they were moving the ball around, how they were winning every single second ball. Did you notice that?
Yep.
Like they were outrunning, outworking, outclassing the opposition in pretty much every capacity. And you're never going to do that probably over all 90 minutes of a game. But, you know, the idea is to do that as much as possible. And they were just lighting it up for that 15 minutes. And it was electric. The crowd was going crazy. And you could feel like just from being in the building that they were going to score again after the first goal because of how they were playing.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
It all led to this Rothrock goal in the 34th minute. Pedro De La Vega slides it to Ferreira. Excellent ball from De La Vega. Excellent body movement and positioning from Ferreira to receive the ball and take his first touch in a way that allowed him to pick his head up and see that the midfielder had cheated over and left Paul Rothrock wide ass open. And the body movement to set up the pass, the technical ability to hit the pass with the weight that allows Rothrock to take the touch, then a nice little curler from Paul Rothrock who was wide open. That was a great goal.
Dude, the way he basically volleyed it to himself too, to just like set up that goal. He's a stud, man. Paul is a stud. He's got the swag. He's got the effortlessness of just like being the coolest guy I've ever seen in my entire life. And he's like a certified baller. Like you could put him on basically any team and I think he's going to work his ass off and get minutes. Like he is not just like a fun story. He is a baller, a certified baller. That finish, it didn't cement it because I already believed it, but like, what are you going to say, man? What do you say more about the kid? He's so good.
Yeah.
He's so good. That finish,
and he's like he rises to the moment, you know?
Yeah.
He rises to the moment.
I think that's a good thing to say about this team too, and the way that they played was like, this was always how they could play. This is always what they could do. We saw this.
Hoping for and expecting like during preseason. That right there.
We saw this. And we do this dance every year, Ari. I was talking about this today. I was having coffee with some friends this morning, and I said, this is always what we do. We've been doing this a few seasons now, Ari. We know what content is going to come when. We know that they're going to be terrible in the start of the season, and they're going to look like they've never played soccer before. There's going to be injuries, and then you're going to see that glimmer of hope, and they're going to ride that glimmer of hope into one of the just most fire streaks you've ever seen in your life. This is Seattle Sounders, dude. When have they ever played good in the first 2 months of any season?
I feel like that the narrative of the slow starts has like they managed to squash that a little bit in recent years, but then this year it definitely that happened again. And this was a great performance. Now they need to sustain it. Like from here, the question is if that was like a one-off or a blip, like like people were saying the LAFC game was at the time, even though that game was kind of two rotated teams. But This was a great start on a lot of fronts. I thought the defense had a good game. This Nashville team, I mean, you want to talk about XG? They've been racking it up.
Whatever that means.
And okay, I'll put it in terms that you can understand. They've been generating really good chances all season and just haven't finished.
So they haven't scored. They're not good at scoring.
Do you not understand the difference between playing good offense and like is not necessarily related to whether you're scoring or not? Like, is that concept
I don't believe that. I don't believe in that concept because it's like if you're the game, you score, you put ball in net, you score, that's 1 point. If you don't put ball in net and score, that's 0 point.
Oh
and you have
God,
to score.
This is so bad.
You have to put ball in net to get point to win game.
But to get in positions to get scores, you have to be generating chances.
Sure.
Yeah. So if you're doing that well, you're going to score more.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't. So like if their XG is high, it's saying like theoretically you can potentially get there.
Here's the problem I have with this take, Noah, is that you know that how you play and what the final results aren't necessarily related. You talk about that all the time. And then when it comes to actually applying a stat that measures it, you dismiss the stat and say that it's stupid. But yes. I know that you understand the concept that how you play isn't necessarily related to what the final result is. And looking at what the performance is can help you predict what the final result could be. That's why people use stats. So it's like you're arguing something against something that I know you actually know because you literally argue with it. You literally argue it.
I just don't believe it. I don't believe in
it. Oh man, we got to be going on those
It's just
stats.
like what are we doing? Just like look if they can't score. Okay, yeah, it was just yeah, okay. I don't know.
Nashville SC had been playing good offense going into and it wasn't all just XG merchanting. They were scoring some goals too. They were playing good ball. They were taking some results.
I don't think Callahan has a BJ balling a little bit.
He had them BJ balling a little bit, and they were XG merchanting a little bit, but they were
they weren't scoring.
But they also were scoring. They were scoring, is what I'm trying to tell you. And so I think Seattle's defense did a good job of keeping a clean sheet against a team.
I've rattled him, folks.
They've been doing a good job. They did a good job defensively of keeping a clean sheet against a team that had been playing pretty well on offense. Nashville did get their chances, a couple of them in this game, but Stephen Fry was up for it. He made some really good saves. He had a really good one on Surge at the end of the half that if he converted,
he played a monster game.
It would have been 3-1, and I thought that was a really big play in this game because if Surge gets that and it gets to 3-1, then the second half you are thinking it's in the back of your mind a little bit like, all right, if they get one, then at 3-2. Then it's up in the air. Like they can actually, they'll have belief that they can take a point in the game if that happens. So I think credit to Stephen Fry, credit to Kim Ki-hee for deputizing admirably. I thought he was great in this game. I think he made me feel a lot more confident that they'll be able to stay afloat just fine defensively for this period while Jackson Reagan is out. And I thought the game management in the second half to keep the lead, not let anything crazy happen was good. And then at the end of the game, when Jordan Morris and Albert Rusnak subbed on, they generated a couple of other really good chances at the end to get the fourth or the fifth. I think that was a little disappointing that they didn't, just because the vibes. Imagine the vibes if Jordan had like bammed that last one. And
yeah, but they were high XG, so
I mean they were, and that's a good thing. So Jordan looked good, I thought, in his return from injury. He was running around. He got some good chances. He didn't quite finish those, but I was encouraged by how he played. And then we got our first look at Ryan Kent. Let's talk about Ryan Kent because he got his first MLS action, and he did some cool stuff out there. I'm excited to watch him play more. My favorite play that he had was the no-looker through ball to Ferreira that was really close to hitting, like connecting. And
off that like, nice turn, too.
Yeah, and it's just like kind of creativity like that this team could use more of. Just the idea to do a no-look in your first game on a new club, and then almost have it come off. That was cool. He did a couple of other cool things out there. He said he wants to be a bums off seats, right?
Yeah.
Type of player. you could kind of see that. I thought, what'd you make of Ryan Kent?
No, I loved him. I loved his energy that he brought in that moment. I thought his vision is insanely good. I liked that he was getting into that central space, and also I think that Jordan probably should have laid that ball off to him when they were both crashing. Jordan had the one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and Kent kind of streaked out to the side. If he would have played it across, Ryan Kent would have had a goal on his debut easily.
Yeah, I forgot that, but yeah.
But like you know, that's you.
I get why he shot it.
I'm not here to shit on Jordan. That's your prerogative.
I would rather
you're
him
the
square
9.
that, but I get why
You're the 9. You're the 9. I get it. But I thought in the very limited amount of time that he might be the greatest player to ever touch grass.
I think
he might be better than Messi.
And you had that in agenda check. But,
I do.
So you were very high on the Ryan Kent debut.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic that he can inject some energy, some creativity, some dynamic nature to this team. And I thought we saw a little flash of that, just a little flash of that. Excited to watch him play more. Schmetz said that he's going to have to earn his minutes, but like the idea is he'll be ramping up his minutes going forward, and then we'll really get to see what he can do. So,
listen, Paul Rothrock can't play every game. Okay.
Exactly.
He can't.
Exactly. I mean, if anything, it's great for the depth, but there's also a chance that this could be like a really big impact player for this team. I think that's within the range of outcomes for sure. Like,
I agree.
When you consider the pedigree and the talent that we're talking about. Let's do Lobbing Scorchers man of the match. For me, it can't be anybody other than Obed. I felt like his two-way impact, his assist, and just like I loved everything about this Obed game. But there's honestly a lot of different ways that you could go with this. So if you have anyone else to shout, if you want to do Obed too, you can do that. But if you have anyone else to shout,
I think for me, and this is a pretty obvious one, Jesus Ferreira. He's got to be my man of the match. I think
that's a good segue. That was my next topic.
From what he's been taking, even from us. I mean, we're very like positive, rational. Okay, maybe not me. I'm not rational, but this podcast tries to be a rational, sane. What am I saying? We're not rational or sane. But
I think what you mean is
we've given a little bit of grief to Jesus Ferreira when we usually don't do that. And I think that this is exactly the type of performance that we believed and have seen that he could play in the past, and what we really truly believed he could bring to this team. And I thought that like that has to feel really good as a player. Not only that, but like this is kind of what exactly we were looking for from him.
Yeah, I think from the Lobbing Scorchers perspective, the way that integration has been going has been frustrating because I think unlike a lot of the people who have been firing takes on this discourse, we actually watched him a lot at FC Dallas.
True.
A lot.
True. I was there when he scored his first goal.
Yeah, and like he has been in the league for a long time, and we both follow the whole league outside Seattle, and so we know like how high level a player he can be in this league, and that's why we liked the trade. That's why we thought it was a pretty high percentage move, and that's why we were saying that we thought that it was a good move. And the fact that it took a really long time for him to integrate had people, victory lapping on me earlier this week. Really great takes by everyone who was doing that. It took exactly one game for that. I was trying to tell you, but it took exactly one game for that to backfire. Because the thing is, like, we had one commenter in particular, Noah, right? I think it was about 5,000 words.
Yeah, they did go 5K on us.
He went 5K on us.
I read about one graph and I was like,
He had links to Sounder Hard articles that were speaking positively about the trade. He was saying he predicted it the whole time and that we were giving him or them grief about that, which is not true. And then
he felt personally victimized.
He was claiming 100% validation on how this is a terrible trade, and I knew it because his positioning on this roster didn't make sense. And Craig Weibel is the biggest clown on earth for making this trade because any fan could see what I already knew because I know ball. He went 5K on this. It took one game for that to backfire. So whoever wrote the 5K, congratulations. You absolutely wasted your time. But keep commenting on our videos. That's fine.
No, 5K words is probably good for the
but
algo.
My whole point is just that, like, the Matchday 8 victory lap, you just shouldn't do that. Like,
well, even my, like, you know, my takes, which, you know, I fire stuff off for content all the time, but like something that I truly believed is, and I said it, I was like, he's really bad right now. Like, he needed to figure it out. And I'm not going to say that he's done, he's fixed, he's settled. Honestly, if anything, this performance brings up more questions than it does answers, right? Like, he was playing incredibly well at the 10 and playing it in a different way than Albert Rusnak, to a point where it's like, okay, well, where are you going to play him when Albert is back? Or is Albert going to have to battle for his spot back?
Yeah. This was by far his best game with Seattle so far. 2 assists, but more than just the stat sheet production, which is obviously that's what you want to see at the end of the day. But it was how he looked all game. I thought he was generating a lot of danger. He was combining with everyone a lot better than he has been. Felt like they were actually hitting him in spaces where he could be dangerous, where as opposed to like dropping back and, you know, taking the ball where there is no danger. And then again, the play he makes on the Rothrock assist, I thought was excellent. So just a great shift. And by the way, I'm not victory lapping and saying that this means it was an awesome trade, but I definitely do think that this, like I've been saying for a while now, that I just want to see progress with it. I thought we saw incremental progress at Dallas. People were giving me a hard time about that. I didn't say that it was huge progress. I said the bar was admittedly low, and that any progress to me is good progress at that point. But I thought there was a little bit of progress in Dallas, even if it still wasn't super great. I thought this was like meaningful progress where you can look at it and be like, all right, like it seems like they actually have a lot better understanding of how to deploy this guy, the spaces to find him in, like how he combines with everyone. I thought that all looked a lot better. So it has to keep looking like that. And they have to continue to drill it in training and try and unlock him to the best of their ability. But this was easily the best Ferreira game, and I was encouraged by what I saw from him. Very encouraged, and he got rewarded with the pair of assists. So let's see him bang in some goals, but it was a great shift for him in this game.
I did have an honorable mention as well, if you want, if you could hear it out.
Yeah.
Stephen Fry, 8 saves, monster game, 39 years old. Who cares? Let him play till he's 55.
Happy birthday. It's his birthday.
Yeah, it is. Hey,
happy birthday, Steph Fry. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't look 39 in between the posts. He was, that's why it pays to have an elite goalkeeper, because it allows you to they're probably going to win that game anyway. But, you know, if one of those like goals off the chances that Nashville did get goes in and he doesn't make those saves, then you open it up. You open the door for something crazy to happen.
I genuinely think he stopped 2 goals from going in, like on his own. Like, I think that there were 2 chances. There were clear-cut chances that he made great saves on. If they get 2 in the back of the net, that's anyone's game at that point, especially if the Sounders can't close that out with another goal. Famously, 3-0 is the most dangerous, you know, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know. He's been taking some grief this season, so I thought that an honorable mention was due for our boy.
Let's do positives and negatives and then hit our agenda check. I have so many positives from this game.
Maybe you should just hit your negatives.
I have a ton of positives and 1 negative. I'm just going to read them through real quick.
Okay. We hit these.
Yeah, we hit him, but like I still want to read my list.
Yeah.
Attack played great. Ferreira had a really good game. De La Vega got a goal. Obed was a monster. Christian was a monster. Fry was a monster. Kim did great for Reagan. Kent looked pretty damn good. Jordan looked good. I know he didn't finish, but those are the runs and chances that you want to see him getting. If you get him enough of those chances, XG him enough, he's going to finish some of those. So that was good to see. Rusnak is also back. I didn't think he made a pronounced impact in this game. He didn't really need to. I'm glad to see him back on the field. I actually think him returning, people are saying like, oh, like they're winning these games and scoring these goals because Rusnak has been out. I actually think him coming back could boost the team even more. That's what I think about that. We'll see how they figure out, if they figure out how to play Rusnak and Ferreira together. I think that's the big question for when Rusnak is fully fit, is can they play them together? Or is it a situation where you literally have to rotate who's in that center attacking mid position, like based on the matchup or fixture congestion, whatever the case may be? Or can your first choice setup really be Rusnak playing centrally with Ferreira in a wide pocket, kind of drifting around a little like dual 10 action? We'll have to see about that. But
I don't think so.
I'm okay. Okay. Dish.
Yeah, no, I think that this game, and this is kind of what I was hitting on earlier, this game brings up more questions about Ferreira's not spot necessarily, but like where and how you're actually going to play him as opposed to before. It's very clear that this is exactly where he needs to be playing. He needs to be playing at the 10. He needs to be dictating that tempo there. That's where he needs to be. I'm sorry. What are you going to do? Are you going to sit Albert Rusnak? That's a really hard, tough pill to swallow when you're going to bench one of your highest paid players.
When
right?
he's not underperforming.
When he's not underperforming.
He has
exactly.
5 goal contributions this year.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. So it's one of those where it's like, on one hand, you have Ferreira finally coming into his own, feeling confident and all of this in that position. And now you're going to do the thing that they used to do with Jordan, which is, well, yeah, you're good at the 9, but that's not your position because we have another guy ahead of you. Just fucking move out to the wing. Just go wherever you fit. And then you're not performing as well. You're feeling down. You don't have that confidence. I think it's a situation now where it's like, you're going to have to play him there. Because I don't think he looked good when Albert came in. I think he looked pretty mid when Albert came in. And I think that Albert looked pretty mid because they were both, again, doing the same thing where they're getting in each other's space and all of that. I don't know what you do at that point because the reality is Albert is the starter. But like there will be times to do rotation and all of that, but I think you gotta just let him play at that 10, man. You gotta just let him play at the 10. He's at 10.
I hear what you're saying. I definitely think that him playing that position was easily the best he's looked. I think I see that a little differently than you in that I do think that a way exists for them to play together and both be effective and productive. They have not found that way to this point, but I don't think it's out of the question that they can figure that out. We'll just have to see.
I think it's just a tough ask.
It's tough, but I guess there are worse problems to have than having two really high level number 10s. But I just think Rusnak and Ferreira are both guys on the roster that you expect to be starting week in, week out, or otherwise you're not getting the most out of that spot and that money, right? So,
I mean, maybe, but I think it can also be a situation where you play the hot hand, right? Like whoever's dealing is dealing, and when they're not dealing, you play someone else. Other one in. And the thing is, it's like the 10 is a position. Like you can have, let's say, Jesus starts a match and he's just not on. You slot Rusnak in there at halftime, whatever it may be. He's that kind of guy who wants to bring that no matter what. And like, maybe he's offended, but the dude's getting paid. Like I don't really see where that's at. And at the same time, if Ferreira is not the number 1, but he's finally playing in a position where he feels successful and can show that he is a good player and is successful and rise his own stock to, potentially move to Europe, which is kind of his whole point anyway, doesn't that make more sense than just trying to shoehorn him into every lineup? And the fact is, on the left wing, on the right wing, he's buried even further in the depth chart. He is not a 9. It's very clear. Jordan Morris 1, Danny Musovski 2, probably the De Rosario kid. He's probably 3, and then it's probably Jesus. So like if you're thinking about it, even about the player, he should be the number 2 at the 10. There's already no fucking there's no one else to back up at the 10 anyway. Like who else would play there?
Yeah, I don't mind the idea of mixing and matching them when it's necessary. I do think that you got to at least try to figure out how to play them together. Like maybe you're right. Maybe you're right and it's impossible.
And maybe you're right.
I don't. Yeah, like
I'm here. I'm open for it.
That's one of the storylines that I think keep an eye on in the next few weeks. How exactly they manage that, because Rusnak is back. He is getting more fit, and what they're gonna do with that exact position is going to be, and it's going to be interesting.
Brian, I do not envy you, my friend.
I don't envy that. I will say this: a lot of other teams in this league would love to be having the debate that we're talking about between starting Jesus Ferreira and Albert Rusnak at the 10. A lot of MLS teams don't have even one guy who can play that position at that high a level. And Seattle might have two on their hands if that was the real Jesus Ferreira, which I want to be clear, like there's more of a sample size of it being ineffective this season than of what we just saw on Saturday. But I do think that there's a lot of reason for encouragement from what we did see, and hopefully he can sustain it. Like I feel pretty good about it, though. I feel a lot better about it than I did. I don't know about you.
I agree. And that's what I'm saying is like, it's not that it was a negative that he played well. It was a positive, but it's just,
it brings up
a very difficult question with two very talented players that the reality is I don't envy anyone to have to make that decision, but it is going to come down to like, I just hope that they do not try and shoehorn him somewhere else on the field. You owe him as much to let him play in a place where he is effective and looks comfortable. That's all I'm going to say.
But if you're not shoehorning him and he's the number 2, then you're shoehorning him onto the bench. So that's the.
But he came onto this team. He came onto this team expecting that.
To be playing on the bench?
He said, I will have to earn my minutes. If I don't get to play as much, I don't get to play as much. This is a fresh start. I'm going to work for the minutes that I have.
I definitely think he earned more run in this game.
That's what I'm saying. I think they should start. I mean, they're probably going to start him next week, I would assume, because I don't think Albert's full 90 ready. Maybe he is. But you got to play him after that performance. And I think that's what you say, run with the hot hand.
Yeah, I agree with that. My one negative from this game was, and Schmetz even noted this in the post-game presser, really the first 10 minutes of the game, they weren't on the front foot as much as you would like to see from a home team who's trying to impose their will on an away team. And specifically Nuhu, who I am apparently the guy who has to defend Nuhu's like status on this team or whatever, and I'm I'll still do that when I think it's necessary.
You sound so excited to do that.
But it's not like a mantle that I seeked out. It just kind of happened. I will keep doing it, but I will say Nuhu was kind of killing me in the first 10 minutes here. Like the main one was when there was a ball like trickling through to him and he did like 4 of the unnecessary step overs, and then when he could have just booted it, could have just cleared it, which is what he should have done. He did the step overs, and then instead of clearing it, he tried to pass it to somebody, but gave the ball away like right at the top of the box in a really not good place to give it up. And it was just like, just clear it. But honestly, it wasn't even just him. Like I think it's fair to say that when you're the home team, first 10 minutes, you want to be imposing your will, and they didn't really do that, but it didn't end up mattering at all because they took over after 15 and scored 3 goals in 15 minutes and won the game by 3 goals and kept a clean sheet.
Correct.
So it's really, I don't care at all. But if I'm reaching for a negative, that would be it.
I'm right there with you. I think that was my negative. I thought maybe KKR could have gotten a little bit more involved. I saw him getting a little frustrated that he wasn't getting played in as much. But he's getting run and he's getting used to it, and I don't think that he did any damage to
not at all. He didn't
to the team.
He didn't have the type of like kind of splash plays that we've seen from him at times, but I don't mind at all seeing from him just like a steady game where he doesn't put a foot wrong and is working hard on defense. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, the other guys, different guys are going to eat on different weeks. And I think I've seen enough from him to believe that he'll have his opportunities to eat. And I think he's going to capitalize on them because he seems kind of similar to Rothrock to me in like a fearless mentality. and not like afraid of this stage or a big moment at all. So I think KKR will get his time. He'll get his time.
I mean, his debut goal was a banger. So can't
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
you know, both of them
He
actually.
did get that. But like even in that game, it felt like he was. You like noticed him on the field a lot more than probably you did in
But
this
sometimes
game.
that's good to see that that's not always what he needs to be doing. You know what I'm saying? Like there are some players who like that's their bit is being flashy and being on the ball and wanting the ball and wanting to try things and try things and try things. And to your point, like just having a steady game where, yeah, maybe you're not involved, but like you're also not noticed. Like that can be okay. You're not like, you know, I don't know.
And I think it's also good information to have that if Alex Roldan has to miss a game for any reason, your cover at that position, it looks like he has solidified that role, and I feel pretty good about any game that he needs to start. He's like the guy this year where it's like he had to earn his status, and he's doing that. All right, let's hit our agenda check.
Should we break? Let's break for an ad first. We gotta break.
Let's hit our agenda check after this ad break. Don't want to give money to the oligarchs, but love lobbing Scorchers? Do we have a deal for you? MLS Season Pass is back on Apple TV with access to every single MLS match, including Leagues Cup and the entire Audi MLS Cup playoffs with no blackouts. It's not just the games, you get total access to the pre- and post-match MLS 360 whip-around show in both English and Spanish, and get live look-ins and highlights from around the league, as well as full match replays and recaps. Now, you can support our show by visiting lobbingscorchers.com/Apple TV to purchase your subscription and support our show.
Lobbingscorchers.com/Apple TV. Please, don't let the oligarchs win. Welcome back from the ads. If you skipped our ads, I'm coming to your house and I'm gonna open your eyes back up, or your ears, whatever format you're listening to, and I'm going to rewind and play them again for you. Don't skip our ads.
Don't skip the ads. All right, let's hit this agenda check. We have, I think, 5 written down here. Is this 6? No, this is 5.
We got a
lot of agendas,
content.
but we can bust through a couple of these pretty quick. I feel like, because they're ones that we've talked about. But I wrote down this Ferreira is already a bust agenda that surfaced earlier this week. That was really cooking hard on Monday, and by Sunday it's not looking as hot. And look, I'm really not trying to like counter victory lap, like. I'm just pointing out
just a little bit. Well, though we can do it a little bit,
maybe a little bit, but I'm just pointing out. All I'm pointing out is that the original victory lap is not looking as hot. Literally one game after this agenda took off.
Not a good look for you guys. Like I don't. Anytime you doubt, here's the reality of it though, right? Anytime you're a fan of a team and you doubt a player, just know they're gonna turn up at some point. And like you're gonna look like an idiot. Like I'm not saying that you have to be positive about everything all the time, but like when there's a player that had a valuation at one point of what felt like close to $20 million,
he's probably got skills.
He's probably got something in the bag. Yeah. You know, like it's fine to hold your expectations or hold them to a higher standard, but to be like this dude's garbage, terrible attitude, terrible form, all of that. It's like, all right, cool, that's fine. But the second that he does something good, you're gonna have to answer for it. You know what I mean?
And he had a good game, and it wasn't going that well really leading up to this game. Like we've said that. Like there's no question about that, but
we said it was only a matter of time before he broke out.
The Matchday 8 bust proclamations did not age well. Like 4 days later, the next one, the general, kind of in the same vein, but there was the general anti-Moose agenda that's been out there.
No, I've not heard of this. Can you clue me in on this one?
Danny Musovski has had some finishing issues, and
who amongst us hasn't had performance issues? You know,
Danny Musovski has had issues scoring goals, and a lot of people didn't take too kindly to that.
I think I heard someone say that he might be like an shame to soccer, someone who might not ever have. You've seen someone, you don't ever get mad at watching people play soccer, but this specific player like makes you never want to watch soccer again. These are things I've heard around.
Yeah. I don't know who said that.
In the wind.
Moose now has 2 straight MLS games with a goal. Game winner at FC Dallas. Slick little back heel to get the party started against Nashville SC. And by the way, he was the only guy who scored at Cruz Azul. He has a CCC goal this year, so 3 across all comps. So he's actually had a pretty good start to the season, statistically at least, now that we're coming off of this last game where he scored. So,
and he almost had another. He had one that was waved off because it hit off of him and he was off. He had one that got saved, and then he had one where he was doing that slide off the cross, and he was just his timing on the run was just a little bit. And he's
been playing like pretty well this season in terms of, we don't need to do the XG debate again, but like he's been, the offense has been running pretty well with him on the field, at least the last few weeks. And he's been moving well and getting good chances. So I'm happy for him that he is quieting the haters a little bit. And we'll see if he can keep producing the rest of the season. But, you know, if you get like even 5 to 7 goals out of your, I guess he's really the number 2 striker at this point. If you get 5 to 8 out of your number 2 striker, I think that's a good range to be in. And he's at 3. So he's on pace to maybe push 10 goals, which that would be a phenomenal Moose season. I will see if he gets there, but
just minutes wise,
Moose deserves his credit for how the team has been looking with him playing that position with Jordan out, and finally getting rewarded for the good positions that he's been getting in.
He hasn't played a full match. Like, he hasn't played a full 90 at all. Like, that, I'm looking at the numbers right now. I don't think he's played a single full 90. So he's got 3. Yeah, he's got 3, and maybe I'm wrong here, but he's got 3 goals and has not played a single full 90. Like, he's making it count while he's on the field. I personally have never been down on Moose. I've always been very positive on him, and so no, I'm joking. This is to my point of what I just said. If you like a team and you shit on a specific player, eventually they're going to come around and prove you wrong, and you're going to have to just deal with it. Okay, maybe not Bear, but like whatever. He went to China and was balling.
Moose is lifting the curse of Bear. That's what he's doing right now.
Moose is breaking the curse. What do you think they did to break the curse? Like,
maybe there was an exorcism. I don't know. But really, this position has not been shored up since the days of Will Bruin. And really what Moose is doing is like giving you that Will Bruin presence, you know, like not like player profile wise, but like production wise, if he keeps doing this.
I agree. Good for him. Good job. If you want to see my apology, members only. It's in my therapy journal.
The next agenda is the Christian Roldan is washed agenda. I do know that there was a little bit of this flying around. I don't think it was that prevalent in agenda, but you're right that it was a little bit of a thing. And I think Christian would probably...
Well, there was a specific person who was pushing this agenda.
I think Christian would even tell you that the San Diego game was not his finest hour. No. And it was no one's finest hour, to be clear. But the double pivot, specifically in that game, got run over. And there has been a couple other moments where it's like he's set such a high standard over the years that I think it's fair to say that even outside the San Diego game, there was probably a couple instances where he didn't live up to just like the Iron Man consistency that we've come to know and love over his career. And I think this game was a goddamn statement that he's still one of the best midfielders in this league. And his game was...
He was rated top 20 best American players in MLS. He was like number 18 or something. This was on... I can't remember exactly where this was, but it was a list. Like, he's still considered an incredibly talented player And I mean, call him up to the national team. Pooch. Poke. Sorry.
Give him more caps, Poke. But no, in all seriousness, it was good to see him have just like an absolutely monstrous game like that, because we all know he was really feasting, and he honestly almost scored a couple goals, but it was just I think it was just a reaffirmation of how good a player he really is, and the double pivot of him and Obed was excellent in this game. If the San Diego game was like the low point for it this season, that was the high point. When that double pivot is on point, that's what it looks like, and both of them were on fire in this game.
Yeah, this was my agenda, because I wanted people to have to reckon with the slander of our number 7, our GOAT, Christian Roldan. Okay, watch what you say about the man, the myth, and the legend.
On that same vein,
here's my other one. Should I read my other one?
Yeah.
Ryan Kent, okay? That the potential Croc guy. I still have, okay, Ari, I don't know about you, if you've been able to independently confirm this, but I have asked multiple members of the Sounders staff if they can confirm that Mr. Kent does in fact own crocodiles. None of them are able to confirm it to me. So we will have to ask him, I think, point blank at some point, get him on the pod, all of that. But for now, we're going to believe it. The crocodile guy might be the greatest player to ever play soccer, might be better than Messi. I cannot wait for him to play against Messi in Miami, because he's going to score 20 goals and Messi's going to score 0. He's the greatest to ever walk on the pitch.
I hope that turns out to be a correct agenda. Why talk about why you're so high on what you saw.
I
know you're being a little facetious.
I'm being facetious,
but you did really. It seems like you were charged up about it, like in a way that maybe I thought he was good and encouraging, but I wasn't that charged.
Well, I think that it's the same thing that Pedro brings. It's a step above of just like hard-nosed football, right? I think that people can sometimes rightfully call like Brian Schmetzer ball. We even joke and talk about it. We're like, oh, that's some Schmetzer ball right there. Grind it out, hard-nosed, like good on possession, spring the counterattack, whatever. But there's just that extra flair that he brings that, like you were saying, butts out of seats, all of that kind of stuff. But Pedro and him on the wing, just this dynamic threat of like, vision and pace, and it's a higher level than you expect to experience a lot of times in the Major League Soccer that we have gotten to know, at least right here in Seattle. And I think that is such a beautiful thing, dude, especially with him and Ferreira and De La Vega and all of this, just this beautiful creativity. I'm really excited to see how he adapts to that, because like sometimes that doesn't work in MLS games, but I really do think that you can tell he is not going to be here for a long time. Like, he is just that talented.
I think it was confirmation of the type of upside that exists here. Who knows right now if he's going to hit that? But I mean, this guy was a dominant player for Rangers in Scotland for a pretty healthy period of time before his career got off track a little bit. But I don't think the question here is about talent or ability at all. It's, maybe more buy-in, motivation, or how he fits. But in terms of like the skills,
the buy-in, I mean, dude, he
I'm not
worried.
I'm not worried about it at all.
Yeah.
But that would be the question if there was one,
right?
But like based on hearing him talk and how he seems to be fitting in just from an interpersonal standpoint, I think he's like fully bought in on the team and his role on it. But I think there's an outcome here where he could be like a real pronounced impact player in the league. Like, he's got to go out there and do it, but it's possible. And that in itself is exciting right now.
Yeah. He said he wanted to come and enjoy playing soccer again and find a place to do that. And that is like, that's amazing. That's beautiful. That's what I want to see out of him in that position, is just like try shit, have fun. There are 4,000 wingers on this football club. Go ahead, try some shit. Go do some shit. Go do that no-look pass. Bring that flair and that technical ability from, just being an Englishman, right, that we've come to expect out of talents from overseas. He's a great player, man. Like, I want to see more. I want to see him start. I want to see what he can get done. He's got it. He's got the vision. He could have had a goal. He played for like 10 minutes. He could have had a goal.
Did Craig Weibel cook with this like acquisition?
Craig Weibel's cooking. You just don't know. Remember, people were crashing out about that. No, some fucking.
That was like the crux of the whole thing that I got into earlier in the week was that. But like I did think it was funny how the three players that got the goals in this game, Moose. Or I guess 2 out of the 3. Rothrock is like internal.
Technically.
But the fact that both Moose and De La Vega scored in this game, those have been like two of the guys that have been pointed to the most as to why Craig Weibs has not been cooking. So I don't know. I'm not saying anything. Yeah, you can just calm down. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that if those 2 guys happen to get on fire, that would be pretty funny, like narratively.
It's just we don't even have to get into the Craig Weibel thing.
That was just a fleeting thought. Yeah, let's not get into that.
People are
All right, Noah. Unless do you got anything else on the Seattle Sounders or this game or what you want to see moving forward, or should we hit our around the league stuff?
Let's get around the league because I am so excited to talk about this.
We got some good content from elsewhere in MLS this week.
There are days where I just want this to be an around the league show because I'm like, I do not want to talk about the Sounders. This is one of those days where I want to talk about both so bad, Ari. I've been fiending for this.
I'm excited for this next segment. First, we have our blazing hot coach press conference of the week, sponsored by Haxan Ferments. And Noah, this was related. Let's talk about the game first, and then we'll play the blazing hot coach press conference sponsored by Haxan Ferments. This whole situation spawned out of what I think was the best MLS game of the season so far between LAFC and the Portland Timbies at Providence Park. This game was phenomenal. There was goals flying back and forth. It ended 3-3, but really like the whole game was just like this frantic,
it was cinema,
crazy. Yeah, it was absolutely cinematic.
The most MLS game I've watched in a long time.
And I only actually caught the last like half hour of it, and I was enthralled. There was just
it's
much
worth a watch.
There was so much going on. The Timbies were up 3-2 late, and then Diego Chara got called for a penalty on VAR for a foul on Denny Bouanga. And Noah, Phil Neville was not happy about this call. The broadcast cut to him on the sideline, and you could literally just read his lips, and what he was saying unmistakably was "fuck off," but he was yelling it at a very loud volume repeatedly. So that's what he thought of the PK call that gave LAFC the equalizer. And then it didn't slow down after that. It was going, there was 11 minutes of stoppage time because of all the other crazy shit that happened in the game. DaCosta, Portland's new DP, had a free kick from right outside the box that would have won it. He banged it off the post. I feel there was like 3 other shots in this game that banged off the post, just chances galore, like nonstop action. So as someone who does not care at all about the success of either LAFC or the Portland Timbies, I had a great time watching it. But Steve C, who we're going to talk about in a bit, Steve C got a red card at one point in this game, which
that's hilarious.
You don't see a coach get sent off every week.
Nope.
So that little coach red card, that was pretty fun. But then Phil Nebbs, after the game, goes into the press conference room, and he had a lot of stuff on his mind. Let's just play a little, maybe a clip or two from our blazing hot coach press conference of the week, sponsored by Haxan Ferments, featuring Portland Timbies head coach Phil Neville.
By Timbers head coach Phil Neville. Phil, do you want to start off with thoughts or go straight to
Yeah. It was a high level brilliant game of football. So I think both sets of players should be incredibly proud of that performance. That is, from a pure player's point of view, that was an incredible advert for MLS football. From a player's point of view, not officially. That from a player's point of view, I don't want to add the officials into that, because I've got to say, I think the sending off of Steve Cherundolo was an absolute disgrace. I really do. I got a yellow card at the end for taking my players away from the referee. I thought that I was showing respect. I thought I was doing my job. I thought I was protecting and showing respect to a set of referees that didn't do us any favours, that have never done us any favours. And I get a yellow card, and maybe I'm suspended for the next game for actually trying to help them. But that's it. Done. That's it, me done with them.
Okay, we'll open it up to questions.
And we will get a report, and they'll say that I was causing dissent. I was getting my players away from the officials. And Steve Cherundolo should never have been sent off. Should never have been sent off on any game of football in the whole world. And what we're seeing now is that we've just played a 3-3 game against one of the best teams, an incredible advert of football. And I just think that they just want to be the kings of the castle. It's all about them. They just want to show that they are the main people in this league. And unfortunately, it's not good.
How do you keep these young players focused and motivated and keep their head in the game when you can't give them a definitive, this is what's going to be called, this is how aggressive I want you to be?
Well, I just had 2 or 3 minutes with Diego Chara, who's 39 years of age, who's played more games than anyone else in this league, and forget the young players, even he can't understand it. You know, even he can't understand it. So it's difficult to explain to the younger players when even our most experienced can't. It was an incredible game of football. And it needed a high-level game of football, needed high-level officiating. Now, what I would say is I didn't think we deserved to win the game. And I think if you speak to probably LAFC, they probably feel exactly the same way as us. The offside in the first half, it could have been on. It could have been on, it could have been off. I have to see it again. And they probably felt a couple of decisions went their way. I know that Jimmy had some incredible saves from Boanga. So I think 3-3 was probably a fair result. But I just want to be talking about the football. I don't want to be frustrated. I don't want to receive a yellow card for trying to help the situation. I don't want Steve Cherundolo to be sent off for nothing. You know, Steve didn't deserve to be sent off. I'm angry because the opposing manager got a red card. I think that shows where I'm at, really.
So yeah, that was Phil Neves. Not happy.
No,
not happy. And you know, I was told that Steve C's presser was hot as well, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I could only find a 1-minute clip on Twitter.
They're hiding the evidence.
They're hiding it. But both of the coaches were just absolutely livid.
Both are getting fined
about
for
the
sure.
officiating in this game. Yeah, I mean Phil Neves. Yeah, well, Steve C. We were listening to it before we started recording. He's getting fined. They're both getting fined. I thought it was funny how Phil Neves right there was like defending an absolute disgrace that Steve C. got sent off.
It is funny. You don't often see, like, in a game like that, another coach be like, oh, you know, it was a hard-fought game and whatever, but it's an absolute disgrace that the coach got a red card. I can't.
You really don't.
That's like uncharted territory.
That's how hard Phil Neves was cooking off this game.
It's so incredible. This game just in general was It was beauty. It was an MLS game for
I think Phil Neves was right that it was like a great advertisement for the league. Like when you go to a game, like that's the type of stuff that gets the adrenaline going. I think what the Sounders did, just beating the shit out of the other team, that is one way to put on a show. But games like that where it's just two good teams, like I mean, unfortunately, the Portland Timbies are. They've been scoring a ton of goals lately. They've been playing really dynamic in attack. And LAFC, I think they showed in this game that they've still got a little bit of that LAFC to them. So there is like a different type of energy to a back and forth game like that, where one team has to come back and it's just chances flying back and forth.
Yeah,
it was awesome. And that was a great blazing hot coach press conference of the week. Shout out Haxan Ferments.
Phil Neves. I think Phil Neves might be on like Mount Rushmore for flaming hot pressers.
He really is.
And now that we have lost the GOAT of Flaming Hot Coach Pressers, which we literally have an ad based around our former Sporting Kansas City GOAT. He might have to take. Do you think he's taking the throne? Like, who's the most flaming?
I think it's got to be Phil Nevs, because the thing about Steve C is
He's so composed when he's
even
doing
when he's
it.
cooking, he's composed. Whereas Phil Nevs actually puts the Peter Vermees like emotion behind it.
Yeah.
So
He gets straight tilted.
I think he's taking up the mantle, and he's got that team playing pretty well. So we've given Phil Nevs a hard time, but
We did
you
say
do have to
extend him.
acknowledge that exactly. You do have to acknowledge that the Timbies they look like they're coming after it right now. They
You
kinda
excited for that May 6th matchup between Tacoma Defiance and Portland Timbers now?
I am. I mean, I already knew when that matchup got set that the Timbies are in really good form right now. We'll see what type of lineup they put out there. I mean, the great thing about that matchup is that there's only one team with anything at all to lose, and it's them. So I'm gonna, even if it becomes a situation where Portland's just dominating them, I'm not gonna let that chat me too much. But that segues into our next topic, which this is an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
This is an interesting one. Steve C is leaving LAFC at the end of the season. They announced that earlier this week that he's going to serve out. He's not getting fired or resigning or anything like that. He's going to serve out the rest of the 2025 season.
And then weird to announce it now. Like, why are you saying anything?
Right. Like, I mean, maybe they're getting ahead of what they figured would guaranteed be leaks or something. I don't know. But either way, he's returning to Germany for family reasons. So he's going to serve out the rest of this season, and then he'll be on his way. No more Steve C at LAFC, which, like you said, Noah, that's one thing. I don't think it's probably the first time that a coach has amicably departed for family reasons and not necessarily because of performance, which is how they're framing it. But the curious thing here is, why announce it in April?
Yeah.
So you have public knowledge that your coach is a lame duck.
I guess I'm just confused because it's like you announce this, you have your whole season ahead of you. You potentially have a Club World Cup spot coming. You've already lost the biggest signing that you were trying to make in Antoine Griezmann, right? They couldn't make that happen. He re-signs with Atletico, and now you have a lame duck coach while you're trying to recruit a big DP signing. It makes no sense, man.
I'm just not sure if I've seen it. I don't know if I've seen a lame duck yet announced like that.
Where's the leverage for who?
Well, and Travis Helwig, shout out Happy Foot Sad Foot, he was pointing this out like on his reaction show. But they must have absolute like supreme confidence in his standing within the locker room and just the whole organization, because if you're a player playing for a coach that is lame duck, doesn't it have to almost seep into your mind? Like, why do I have to listen to this guy? He's leaving.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's a like one last run kind of thing. Like maybe it's, and this is total speculation, but it's like Denny Bouanga's already unhappy. It seems like he seems to not be playing. I mean, in this last game, he played really well, but
he bounced back. He hasn't been having like that good a season.
He doesn't seem to be super happy. There's rumors there's Flipgate. If you watch Happy Foot Sad Foot, he hasn't flipped. I don't know if he flipped in Portland, so
he didn't.
He didn't flip, so there's an issue there. Maybe they're blowing it up, Ari.
I don't think.
Maybe they're blowing it up.
I don't think blowing it up is like in the LAFC ethos.
No, they do. They rebuild often. They don't. They like.
But they never. They're never like not trying to compete. I mean, tanking's not really a thing in MLS.
Yeah, they're not tanking. I'm just saying.
But like there are teams that like do teardowns.
Yeah,
and I don't know if I would describe like they do kind of like soft rebuilds. I think is a better way to describe it. But I don't know if it's as much to do with that or I mean. I'm sure like whatever reasons that he's moving for are are valid reasons for him and his life and everything.
But he can't just
But,
not say shit for 6
like
months.
I think that's where I kind of don't get it. Is like, why announce it this early?
Yeah.
You could announce it like more towards the end of the season. Although maybe at that point it becomes more of a distraction than if you've just had it out there for all this time.
Right.
I don't know. I'm sure there is logic to why they got together and decided, all right, we know this is the outcome. We're just gonna announce it now and then have you go through the rest of the season, go our separate ways. But I think like it has ripple effects like throughout the rest of the West, because you've got one of the preeminent big contending teams, LAFC, who now have a lame duck coach, and we'll see how that affects them. Maybe it doesn't affect them at all. And they just keep buzzsawing. They played really well in this last game, so it didn't affect them in Portland. But there are definitely scenarios that I could think of where having your coach be lame duck for this long of the season could be not good. Like,
Yeah.
I definitely think that that's a possibility.
It's just weird business. Like, for him, like, is he trying to like attract a Bundesliga job? Because I saw he's like, I'm moving back to Germany. Who the fuck is hiring Steve Cherundolo in the Bundesliga?
Well, he played there for his whole playing career. He got his coaching start there.
But I'm
his
just
family
saying,
lived
like-
there for a really long time. So that connection makes sense.
It makes sense why he would move back, but I'm
But
just
you could-
saying you don't announce that.
He could have just done the rest of this season, seen how it ended up, and then been like, this is the decision that I made either way.
Yeah,
know?
you can
So-
talk to people. It's bizarre business. It's bizarre business. In a business where you don't just say the truth about the situation, it's weird. Because you lose all leverage, right? Like, I don't get it unless it was like a LAFC where like, we're gonna fucking push you out if you don't at the end of the season, or like you're done at the end of the
But
season.
then they would just fire him.
Yeah, so it's so weird. I don't understand it. It's a bizarre decision.
It's definitely not something. I tried to rack my my brain to see if I could remember a like comparable situation, like not even just in MLS, but like in any sport. I don't know if I've seen that. I don't know. If I've seen
Pete Carroll,
that.
maybe.
No, they didn't announce that he was gone during the season.
That's true. It was after.
It was after. That's when that's when it usually happens.
So weird.
So,
Also, like, even if it leaks in the media, you can just say, "Yeah, I don't know anything about that."
well, then maybe that's a distraction. I don't know. For me, what I'm going to be keeping tabs on is what, if any, effect this has on LAFC, either on the field results wise, or I'd be down for like a little locker room turmoil with them.
Yeah, that
'Cause
would be fire.
Yeah, it like felt like they might be headed towards that even before we heard this with Bouanga. Like there have been like disgruntled vibes from Bouanga. Is that fair
Yeah,
to say?
yeah.
Like there have been.
He wants to be a Sounder so bad.
he
wants to be a Sounder so bad.
It's not even just about like the production. It's just like when you watch him play, he's just bombing into triple teams and doing reckless stuff and not really
Fighting with Nuhu.
Yeah, not impacting the game like he normally does in these back-to-back seasons where he's been golden booting and scoring 20 plus goals. So that was already a thing before this news. Now you have this. Hopefully, I guess that's my main point with this is like the weirdness of it aside. If it roils them a little bit, that would be sick. Not just for Seattle, but for anyone who's not LFC.
Correct. Best of luck to Steve C.
Best of luck to Steve C. Shout out Steve C.
One of my faves.
He's they had a good run with him.
Who I famously continuously called Steve T.
Yeah.
So
They lost a lot of finals with him, and that's why a lot of LAFC fans were doing their Dolo out campaign.
I'm
but,
Dolo in for that reason.
You know, to be fair, he does have an MLS Cup and Open Cup, so that's
did he get a shield too?
Yeah, and they got the shield double.
So
2 tournament trophies and a
famously
shield.
The U.S. Open Cup is the most important. That's like a good. What do you?
Now that I think about it like that, like why were they so Dolo out? Like they've
also been like such a nasty good team. Like I think that LAFC fans are spoiled as hell. because
It's like a victim of his own success kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they set
people
the bar.
say that about Brian too.
Yeah. Like, but like the LAFC domination type seasons were just crazy. They had a season where they put up a plus 48 GD. Like
that was like genuinely the best MLS team I think I've ever seen.
Aside from these like Inter Miami,
but
Barca boys teams,
I think that was better because they actually won something.
Like
I guess no, they won the Shield too. So yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
And Leagues Cup. I think Inter Miami.
You're right.
I think if we're just talking,
I like to pretend they don't exist.
That was what I was gonna say is they don't count for the purposes of a discussion like this. I think these Miami teams at their apex play the best ball I've ever seen in the league.
But they're cheating.
But they're basically cheating, and LAFC played ball that was pretty much like that. Honestly,
yeah, it's true.
Like in 2019, they were as buzzsaw an MLS squad as I've ever seen this side of Messi and the Barca boys. So I think it is kind of strange, like how anti-Dolo sentiment there came to be in that fan base, because he's had quite a lot of success and he got them an MLS Cup. So the grass isn't always greener, LAFC fans. Whoever you guys bring in might not be as good as Steve C.
Grass ain't always greener, folks. Grass ain't always greener. Should we do our winners and losers?
Let's hit our winners and losers and then get out of here, and then do our post show for our YouTube members. Winners, I got 3 of them. Seattle Sounders. I'm putting them in.
Gotta be.
Anytime.
What a vibe shift.
Yeah.
In the last 2 games. What a vibe shift.
Anytime you can execute a vibe shift to this extent. And then also, we already talked about it earlier, but those 15 minutes where they were banging those goals in, that was just...
maybe we should title this the best 15 minutes of soccer ever.
That's actually a good idea, because we were giving them a hard time with that last title. And that 15 minutes was like, it was... Lumen Field Nirvana, man.
It was.
Like, again, there is really, for me, there's nothing like it than a crowd at Lumen Field when the Durs are playing like that. It's the best, and they were putting on a show. It wasn't just that they got the 3-0 win. It was like how they did it, like how thorough it was. We went down the list of positives earlier. Great result for Seattle. They easily are in one of the winners for this week. Charlotte FC slammed San Diego 3-0. Did you see that?
I did. Charlotte is a good team, and that's what I've been saying.
They're like, I think the, people should listen to us sometimes, because, we were saying it before the season, and, all we were doing was parroting what a lot of national pundits who had looked at their roster were saying. But, we took that information and we were like, all right, this team, based on this and this move, are probably going to be better than they were last year when they were already pretty good. And that is coming to fruition. And we know how good San Diego can be when they're at their top level. So that's definitely not a Mickey Mouse type of win or anything. I think San Diego, it seems like they're coming down a little bit from their blazing hot start, but they can still play attacking soccer with the best
We've
team of this league.
seen what they can do.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just like...
So beating them 3-0, that's a great dub for Charlotte. And I think they're for real.
They're top of the East,
They're
man.
top of the East.
That's what I'm saying. The way that the Sounders played Charlotte, that draw was not that bad. That draw was not that bad.
The performance was good
you
in that game.
could have gotten the win, sure.
They really were going to beat that team until that stupid last second concession, but like they had that game pretty much won, which that sucked.
Yep.
But I think what you're saying is right. Like that game in hindsight is like, damn, they were playing one of the best teams in the East.
Yeah, I
so,
agree. And shout out to Andrew Privet, Penn State legend. He got a goal in this game, which rocks, because he's a fun story too, where he basically pushed out Tim Ream from his position. And that's tight as hell. So shout out to Andrew Privet. And also Pep Biel might be my favorite MLS player right now.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. And he's probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, driving forces behind why they're playing so well.
He better get an all-star call up, dude.
More than Zaha.
Yeah.
They haven't even really got Zaha fully going yet.
No, he's got 2 goals or something like that?
Something like that. And he's really like, he's not playing bad. it's not like they're not talking about him like a bust or anything, but
No.
I definitely haven't seen him like week in, week out be a prominent we're on the website, we're always promoting like any big name like that. And I haven't really seen him that much, which I think that if anything, that means that they can probably be hopeful that they have even another level to reach. I just realized that the last winner I wrote down was actually a loser.
2 winners. Wait, I could just pick one.
Go ahead and pick one. Yeah.
The Philadelphia Union, Ari.
Yeah.
I feel like the Union have been playing better. They got a 3-0 thrashing of Atlanta United, who...
I'm going to talk about them next.
Tough scene, folks. They also got a red card in the 56th minute and still held on to that clean sheet. So that's always impressive. Ty Baribo is continuing to just slam in a bajillion goals. That's like, I don't know. He's been playing
He's a
really
Golden
well.
Boot contender for sure.
Like genuinely 7 goals in 7 games. I think. Yeah, 7 goals in 7 starts, 8 matches. That's kind of exactly the production you want from a striker. He's been playing out of his mind. So I don't know, just Philly on the turnaround. They fire their coach and have just looked like a straight up force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I think they started off super hot, and then before this game, there was like a 2 to 3 game stretch where they had cooled a little bit.
Yeah, they lost to Inter Miami, drew Orlando, and then lost to NYCFC.
Yeah.
But like it was like, it's a stretch that people have.
Yeah, and it feels like this was a course correction win for them. And, they're at 1.78 points per game, which in your first season under a new coach who I think we were a little skeptical of, like, why you would move off Jim C for Bradley C when that seems like a lateral move, if not a downgrade. And to be fair, he's seems to be doing a good job. He's got buy-in from them, and they're taking results. So I think that's a good pick. Let's hit our losers. And I'll hit Atlanta United right off rip here.
Oh, wait, I want to do one more winner.
Oh, okay.
Because Atlanta United, not Atlanta United, Austin FC, just because I feel like they've been putting together kind of a nice little run. They beat the Galaxy, which like I could beat the Galaxy right now.
The Galaxy 1-0.
I don't know. I like Austin right now, and that's it. That's. I just wanted to mention them here. I like how they're playing.
They won. They're like It seems like Nico Estevez has them playing like grinded out ball, which their fans are going to be complaining that it's boring. But if they can do it to effect, then that's what they got to do. My first loser, Atlanta United, on the wrong end of that 3-0 result against the Philly Union. That continues their worst start in club history. Their fans are calling that the most embarrassing, worst performance in club history. And this season for them really couldn't be starting out much more of a disaster and
nightmare.
It's really I don't even know what to make of it, because I mean every year I feel like I buy into all right, Atlanta United's been bad for a couple years. They lit up the league to start their existence, and then the last 5 years honestly have been mid at absolute best, mostly actively bad, frankly. They did make the playoffs last year and beat Messi, so that was sick. But honestly, aside from that, they have very little to hang their hat on over the last few years. They fire Gonzo Pineda. They hire Ronnie Dela, Garth Lagerwey, and Chris Henderson, who we all know quite well. They're down there making their own mark. They spent a metric ton of money on Latte Loth and bringing Almiron back.
Your 2x4s are going up in price because of this football club.
I said that Almiron was my favorite move as far as the potential impact that any MLS club made over the offseason. That take's not looking that good.
No, it's not.
Like he's getting frustrated. You can tell like this is not what he envisioned when he agreed to this homecoming. Latte Loth has some goals, but when you spend $22 million on a guy, you better hope that he is the production equals results, right? Like if Latte Loth puts up 15, 20 goals, but they're like near the bottom of the East, that's still wasted money, honestly, that you arguably could have been better served to, I don't know what they need to do. Maybe the spine of their team isn't good. Maybe their defense just sucks. I haven't watched enough of their games this year to know exactly what the issues are. All I know is that this was supposed to be their big bounce back year. Garth, man, like, you know, we love Garth, but he had some quotes about how like this is their like prove it kind of year. Like the whole organization has to realizes they have to be better, and this is the year where and that's not happening at all. And I guess the last thing I'll say about it is that I'm going to continue to bring this up as a relevant example until it stops being one. That when we talk about stuff like transfer fees and how much money you're spending, how big the name you're getting, how big the bag you're dropping is, it does matter. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. And honestly, I honestly share the frustration sometimes and wish that the Sounders would just, you know, say fuck it and drop like a giant bag like Atlanta United does. It doesn't guarantee you anything, man.
No,
it doesn't. And like, it's not just Atlanta that you can point to as an example of team that spends a lot that is not only underachieving but like terrible. Like Toronto FC are always one of the highest spending teams. They dropped record breaking money at the time on Insigne, on Bernardeschi. Those might be Bernardeschi actually. I respect him. Like he puts it in for them. Insigne has been like one of the biggest busts ever. So
yeah.
How you build your team, your youth development, how you coach, like the identity that you have, all that stuff matters too, man. Like you can't $22 million latte loth your way out of a situation if you don't have those other things in place. They clearly don't. There's something like organizationally dysfunctional, and that's too bad for them, because if I was a fan of theirs and they spent that much money and they were playing like this, I'd be pissed, man.
Yep.
I'd be pissed. Like, they're supposed to be like a flagship club, and they're face planting right now.
Yeah, I agree. That's you literally you said it, bro. I have nothing to say.
Yeah.
You said what I believe.
The Columbus Crew, this was funny.
Always a great time to revel in the Columbus Crew not doing well.
So the Columbus,
Wilfred Nancy was crashing out, by the way. Did you see
at
that?
his presser or on the sideline?
On the sidelines.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
This was funny because Columbus didn't even play this game in Columbus. They moved it to Cleveland.
Cowards, by the way. Cowardly.
I mean, okay. You know that I have my qualms with the corporate oligarchy. If you look at a situation where we're talking about the difference of 60,000 people compared to 20, which is what lower.com field holds, and you know you're going to put 60 in there, I'm not saying that like I would make the same decision necessarily, but like I can see like why they did that. But like Cleveland,
but Cleveland, bro.
Cleveland.
You have the Buckeyes Stadium. They could have played the game in Columbus. Also, I'm sorry. Do you think that all of those people were there to see the Columbus Crew, Ari?
No,
No, they're not.
And I think that's a fair counter argument against it. Is like
it wasn't a home game for them. Why are you only get so many home games in Major League Soccer? Why are you making your home game an away game? That's fucking dumb. You're stupid, Columbus. You deserve this.
See, I don't know. I wouldn't go that far because
you sell out to get embarrassed.
But couldn't you make an argument that if you're trying to expand your brand, bring in new fans, put on a show, like doing it at a bigger venue is better than a venue that is going to hold like 40K less people when you know you're going to put 60 in that in whatever building that is. Like I can see the logic from that perspective, but here's what I'll say, which is that if you're going to do that, you need to put on a show. You need to come out and go like toe to toe with Messi. You need to score goals that like get the people that are there to support you going, and really like make it a showcase event, kind of like, you know, the LAFC Portland game that we were talking about. You need to have it be like that. What they did was they went out, gave up a goal to Benjamin Kramashi in the 30th minute and didn't score and lost 1-0. So I think a lot of those like new fans or people that maybe weren't interested in MLS or the Crew that were like, I'll go check this out. Like, I like Messi and like, I watch some Crew games, but I'll go in a situation where I normally wouldn't just because Messi's there. But then they like put a dud out there.
Yeah.
You know? And those people are probably thinking that wasn't that sick.
No.
So it did like, well, I guess what I'm saying is like, I can understand the logic maybe more than you're saying, but they didn't capitalize on it. So that's why they're in the losers section.
I don't mind moving stadiums. You moved cities. You moved 2 hours away from where you play soccer. Who the fuck is driving 2 hours to lower.com field after that performance? Nobody. It's mind-boggling. And then to like basically give the biggest FU to your real fans, the ones who come to every game, who love that building. That is a beautiful stadium, by the way. To just be like, yeah, nah. I know you come to all these games and, you know, whatever. Nah, you got to drive 2 hours.
You got to go to Cleveland.
It's like if Messi came here and we played in Yakima. Like, why would you do that?
What if Yakima had like a 120K stadium that you knew you were going to sell out?
That's just, I just don't get, like, why would you do that? You don't play there. You don't play there.
I just posed that hypothetical because it was a funny visual.
It's just
me.
fun. That would be actually fire. I think if Messi played in Yakima, they could figure out a situation where you could get like Hundo K plus.
I have two losers two more that I'll hit real quick to close it out. I mean, San Diego FC we already talked about.
Yep.
But they've come back down to earth a little bit. They boat raced Seattle and had been playing really well, but I think they're getting a little bit of that expansion club reality check.
Yep.
That's what it felt like at least. And then, dude, the LA Galaxy. Is this the worst team in the league right now?
It might be.
I think it is. Like, they don't have a win. They're the only winless team, I think.
Yeah.
I'm going to check that right now because I didn't fact check that. But, okay, CF Montreal doesn't have a win.
Basically,
the LA Galaxy. So, okay, I always forget about CF Montreal. CF Montreal are the worst team in the league right now, but the Galaxy are, like, just as bad.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
That is wild.
Like, they just won the cup. And, I've been saying that that's a worthwhile trade to make every time. But, like, to be this bad?
Yeah.
Like, I was kind of thinking that they would be, like, a miss the playoffs, but, like, can stay at least semi-dignified type bad. They're, like, literal worst team in the league type bad, which is,
Brutal.
that is one that I did not have predicted.
Not me neither.
All right. I think we can call it a wrap right there for episode 96. Thank you all so much, as always, for tuning in. That was a good show. Good dub pod. Good XG debating. Like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube. Like the video. Write us reviews. Rate 5 stars.
Share with Steve C.
Share with
company.
Steve C. Subscribe to Sounder at Heart.
Become a YouTube member to watch our bonus content.
Member.
I'm gonna talk about how I confronted the Sounders GM Craig Weibel. My apology letter to Dan Musovsky and more. So that's my pitch.
Become a YouTube member. Until next time, we out.
Peace.